Extended discussions on the political office holders and the integrity question. I have the presence of the General Overseer, Sword of Liberation Bible Church, Bishop Austin Igbasa. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
And of course, I have an erudite legal practitioner, Williams Chima. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Philip.
Well, straight to you, Austin Igbasa. Let's look at what has been trendy, what has been happening so far. Political office holders, integrity question, and the fallout from what transpired in the office of the former finance minister over allegations of fraud certificate. What do you have to say in that?
Well, it is painful that everything goes in our country. And for somebody to be a commissioner of finance for 4 years in the state, and for the person to go through security checking, and also standing before National Assembly, and all these things were not detected. It shows the failure in our system. It also shows that the integrity that we're talking about, so many of our leaders have integrity problem. The Bible says, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. When righteousness exalts a nation, but the Bible says sin is a reproach. But in our nation today, everything goes. Number one, there is no consequence, there is no punishment for anything anybody does, in as much you are within the corridor of power. So when you see anybody being punished for an offense, you just see it is only a poor man. But as far as our country is concerned, when it has to do with who is who, every offense you committed, there are people that will be standing to help you defend it, and they will make it up. This makeup, it's like we say makeup artists, they will help you make it up. And 1 + 1 will become 11. Because we don't think, how can somebody rise to this kind of a career to get to this level? And immediately when that thing come up, we expected somebody of integrity to say, okay, you're up to it, because it is not the first time you are using such a thing. Okay. How did you get it when we talk about integrity? So if we talk about the person involved, resignation, it is something that is coming after thought, because it is something that has been used in the state. If we are going to deal, we then have to begin to check who are the people that screen it. When she was a commissioner, when she was made a commissioner of finance of a state, then how did they clear her? Then to get to this level of National Assembly, DSS, every check. Now, do they not go to NYSC to confirm if this exemption letter was from them? Then if we are talking, it talks about the system it has gone through. It is not only talking about Adeosun, it's talking about our system and what is happening through our leaders, the so-called leaders. Because everybody should be able to own up. When David committed a sin in the Bible and the young prophet confronted him, he said, thou art the man. Because he was saying, a man has a certain number of sheep, and he went to look for another man that has only one and took that one from him. And David said, surely that man will die. And the young prophet said, you are the man. David had the authority to murder that prophet. But he said, what do? I have sinned against the Lord. So I feel that it is a failure of our system, and people that are coming that are leading us, that people that have opportunity to come into leadership, how do they get there? That is how they get to where they are now. Okay. What are the processes they pass through? So he talks about that is where the integrity.
Okay, you spoke about the system, you spoke about the failed process. But if we are to look at what you just said, when you spoke about the fact that those who are rich, who are at the top, hardly get hooked by this, but the poor definitely easily get hooked by this, and they are criminalized. But are you by this also passing a blame on the judiciary? Because before now, we had a discussion where Adam Saliu, who is a constitutional lawyer and notary public of Nigeria, said that for lack of evidences, issues like this could be discharged from the court. So are you passing the blame also on the judiciary?
Now, whatever you put before a judge, definitely, whatever the evidence you are able to put before a judge is not a Father Christmas, and he will never give a judgment when the prayer is not sought for. Now, if you are going to, for someone to stand before a judicial officer and be caught in this crime, there must be evidence, tight evidence presented that will be presented before the judge. So the judge will never go against. I believe that the judiciary need to be strengthened and be independent on their own. But I feel that our system, even including the judicial process, must be overhauled, and people that are ready to do the bidding of the constitution, those who will be loyal to their nation, not loyal to people who appoint them, or loyal to one leader or the other. The loyalty of everyone in position of leadership, even including the entire masses, must be to our nation. If we are loyal to our nation, I remember somebody was called recently to come for a position. The person declined. He said, I have no idea. I don't have idea in that direction. So if you are going to give me that office, I'm just going to be sitting down and just be wasting the resources of the nation. But it's only few persons that will come up there. Today we see somebody that is almost dying. He still wants appointment. Why? Because we are not talking of serving the people. We are not talking of our loyalty to our nation. So that is what I feel, that every part of our system must be overhauled. Okay, this issue came up, and police themselves said nobody has written petition to them. Okay. They say nobody has written petition about this certificate saga, that they cannot just be going over a matter when there is no petition to that effect. And I felt that the issue that involved the Minister of Finance representing the first finance officer of a nation like that, the police needed somebody to write a petition to them. The NYSC was mute over it, and nobody was saying anything. But I think the pressure from the public was what has led to what happened. It is the pressure, and because it's also an election year, that anything you do will be carried over to election. That was why those decisions are made, and it was an afterthought.
Okay, thank you. I'll come back to you. You are a legal practitioner, Williams Chima. Following what has been happening so far, some are asking that there should be arrest and prosecution of the former finance minister. But the question here is, who is going to provide evidences? Is it the people or the presidency?
Well, it is a very funny question, because what evidence do you need? The lady has admitted that she forged her certificates, and that is why she has resigned on the strength of that allegation. Okay, if we take that she resigned, or that is why she was fired. So I think the situation here is the one that can show where this nation is going to. Okay? Why do we have all these anti-crime agencies, you know, all these talks about integrity, talks about putting things right? I mean, Nigerians have provided the evidence that is needed already, which is on ground. So it behoves now the security agencies to do the needful. If Adeosun escapes this country, it means that there is a big question mark on the entire structure of this nation. Okay? Now, yes, it was an allegation. And of course, I know no matter the number of allegations, even if it is 1,000,000,001 allegations leveled against somebody, until it is proven, it stands and dies as mere allegation. Okay? It only becomes an issue when an allegation is proved. And how can we prove this allegation? Has NYSC been able to provide the original discharge certificate issued to Ms. Adeosun, as at the time, you know, she claimed to have, you know, gotten that clearance? Every Nigerian graduate, at least all of us seated here, we have our discharge certificates.
Okay.
Either as you served or you were discharged on the grounds of age. Okay? You have it, and NYSC should have their own records.
Okay, but do you see it as a mistake coming from NYSC, or that the lady in question is a victim of the process of racketeers?
Well, you see, my brother, there is a difference between morality and law. Okay? And when it comes to law, each question of morality is skipped. Okay? And the law has said ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Not an excuse.
For you to fall victim of racketeers, it means that you don't have a straight mind yourself.
If that's the case.
If that's the case. Okay? So, but if, like I read in the social media, which I don't take to be the truth.
Yeah, we can't lay claim on that because,
okay?
Yes, because we can't get credibility
anybody
of
can
that.
sit down and write whatever the person feels. Okay? But one would have expected that instead of resigning, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun should have come out to tell Nigerians the simple truth. If she had done that, say if she really did not have the discharge certificate and she made it clear, truthfully, and apologized to Nigerians, it would have meant that something is changing. Okay? But when you stand on wrong and you stand to claim right and people are defending you and you are enjoying that defense, then there is a problem somewhere. Okay, so now as it is.
Okay, but what do you make of the statement credited to the APC where they said that the resignation of the former Minister of Finance and the acceptance of same by the President is an action of honor and a character of strength and integrity?
On the part of who?
The President and the President,
now,
and of course, the Honorable Minister.
Now let's segregate it. If you say on the part of Mr. President, if he is not well informed about the situation, and he takes it that, you know, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun is resigning because of pressure that she had lied, okay, and then Mr. President accepting it, he can be forgiven. But for Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, who knows how she got her discharge certificate and had presented same for her clearance as a commissioner in Ogun State, where she served for 4 years, and presented same for the national clearance as a minister, presented it before the DSS, presented it before the National Assembly, and everybody that was involved in her clearance process, and they were unable to dictate it. It's fraud. Let us not mince words. Let's call a spade. Because she cannot say she didn't know that she didn't serve. She cannot say that she didn't know that either she was not above service age or that the certificate she got, you know, she got it wrongly.
Okay, let me pause you there. Back to you, Bishop Austin. Let's look at this logically, because some are saying that brain drain, which is inimical to the robust plan of every economy, because every nation strives to have a robust economy, but brain drain seems to go against it. Now, this whole aspect of setting such rules, whereby if you are a citizen of the country by birth, you must, even if you school abroad, you must come down, present yourself physically if you are not up to 30, and if you finished your higher education, you must take it up. And don't you see this as another way of discouraging people who are citizens of this country but who are abroad? Don't you think that is a discouragement for them to come here and present themselves because of the process that they may not be comfortable with?
Definitely in Israel, if you are going through any university, you go through the same time of service. If in South Korea is 2 years, where they take you through a Navy, Army, and all the rest of them. And within that, everybody can be able to, there's somebody in South Korea now that is a student or a graduate that will not be able to hold arm, or is not a security inclined. So it is not peculiar to Nigeria. I felt that this is our standard, and it should not discourage other people, because if they go to other nations, there are procedures for them to get into university and all the rest of them, and those are our children that are there, Nigerians that are there, will not go there and ask those countries to break their policy because of them coming in. No, so they will not want to even, they will not, in those countries, they are not given the same privilege like citizens of that country until they get whatever is needed to make them a citizen. So they can't jump the gun over there. So I feel this issue of national service, it has happened here before in the days of Obasanjo, where a DG was something like this came up, and the man went to NYSC. He was made to do the service, even as a DG then. So I feel that it is not an excuse for anybody that wants to come home, to come and invest or come and contribute, to say, oh, I cannot do it. If this woman have come up, when this thing came up and the woman just came and apologized to Nigeria, as my learned brother has said, and the woman was remorse and told Nigeria, okay, I want to go to NYSC, let me do it. Nigeria will be sympathetic enough with her. But let me tell you also that what happened to Kemi Adeosun was a trap. Some persons saw it before. They saw it before and they waited for the right time that they will bring the matter up. They saw it. The people that saw it, they saw it. And they waited, a time will come where we'll be able to. If you look at Adeosun discovered some fact in the NNPC. There are figures and all that is they came up with that are not, that are talking about, we are talking about billions now. And those matters will be swept into carpet as she has been pressured to resign. Those matters die natural death and those money will not come back because some persons who know how the movement of those money. There are figures that we are talking about now, even subsidy and not all of them, that the woman will be complaining of. There are people that are also feeling uncomfortable in NNPC and all of that organ, and in fact, by virtue of what she does, the virtue of what she's doing. And they waited for this appointed time, and she fell into their hand. If she has, at that point, if she has come up and said, instead of silence, instead of everybody passing it, instead of the federal government trying to cover it and do all that, if the woman have come up, as soon as that thing came up and said, I never knew, I fell a victim and all that, I'm ready to go to NYC and apologize to the country. Everybody saw that she's doing some work, and she's stepping on the toe of some persons who felt that nobody should touch their toe. Remember what happened in NNPC, where a letter was written for 60 days and it was not attended to. All those matters today have been laid to rest. And there are things that Adeosun fought for, that people felt that this is our offense and this is the time to come up to bring her, and she fell into that trap. If she has come plain and didn't wait for anybody to be defending her and said, this is what happened. I just came into Nigeria and I went to some persons to help me. I didn't go to NYSC myself to go and obtain it. I just called some persons and said, well, how do we do this one? Somebody went around and did it for me. I never knew. And please, I'm apologizing. I'm ready to leave my office. I'm ready to go back to NYC to go and do the needful. Nigeria will be sympathetic to her cause. Even her exit now is not a benefit to us, because those money that she cried about in NNPC and FAC and not the rest of it, it will never be remitted. It has gone into under the carpet.
Okay, but you're speaking well of her now, and looking at what I'm saying is, looking at what has happened, some are also calling for the arrest and her prosecution.
She has already fall into that trap.
Yes.
Now, what has happened is that if with what has happened, and she has waited for people to be defending her, knowing fully well that this is what is on ground. She knew it, that this thing was not genuine, and now she will have come up. Since she has fell into the trap, definitely she should be brought back. If Ayefayose, who is still with immunity, have his picture all over the Nigerian borders, that he must not escape, why will Adeosun jump out of this country and go to UK? Why will he leave office by 10-15 p.m. and from there she has been able to go? Who are the people that stamp a passport to leave?
She should have waited.
She should have waited. For what? She should wait. This is not the end. Resignation is not the end. It's not about integrity. It's about election. It's about the pressure of Nigeria. Are they the one that discovered it? Was it Nigeria that discovered it? So it's not about integrity. Nobody should talk about integrity. Nobody should. There's no integrity here. The issue is that Nigerians discover it and they make noise about it.
But was it necessary for her to wait when there was nobody petitioning?
She should wait. If you know
there's nobody dragging her to court.
No, she should wait. And that's what I'm talking about.
And her being in UK, her being outside the country doesn't stop her from coming back if she needs to answer.
She needed to wait first. You have resigned. Let the law take its course. In as much you have not done the needful at the time you needed to do it, where you will gather sympathy from people, where people will see you as somebody that is plain, that you are plain, that Buhari in this country, former speaker, who will have Toronto certificate, apologized to the country and went back to the same school that he impersonated to go and get his degree there. Okay. So this woman will have been humble enough and said, knowing that she is facing fire from some persons who are sucking money left and right, she will have done that at that moment and said, I fell into the hand of Bajue, Oluwole people. I didn't know that this was what has happened.
Right,
and everybody will have sympathized with her and killed behind her and said, oh, they are victimizing this woman for agenda. They are victimizing this woman because she's doing the right thing. But for now, she must be invited back to Nigeria. The police must do their job, and she must be sued to court and be made to return the salary that she has collected.
Thank you. It's this morning on ITV, and I've been discussing on political office holders and the integrity question. It's been a very, very huge swipe on all of this, and I have the general overseer of Sword of Life Bible Liberation, and did I get that correctly?
Yeah, Sword of Liberation Bible Church.
Sword of Liberation Bible Church, and he's no one else but Bishop Austin Igbasan, and also a legal practitioner, and he is Williams Chima. Thank you for being there. But let's take another level to the recent statement or ban, or INEC's ban on the use of phones in polling units. I know you could have your reactions to what Igbasan said earlier on the other topic, but why taking this together? What do you think about the ban on use of phones in polling units?
Okay, thank you very much, Philip. Yeah, before I go to the INEC,
you can react.
Let me just react a little bit.
Yes.
To say that, well, the beauty of the law, if we will apply the law in this circumstance, is that there is no end, there is no time limit as to criminal trial. So, if Kemi Adeosun, I empathize with her, honestly, because what has just happened to her is what it said, he who lives in a glass house should not throw stones.
Throw stones.
She was doing good work, but of course, it's just like corruption is fighting back. Corruption will definitely fight back. So if you are doing the right thing, definitely you will step on toes, and those may likely be big toes, and those toes will want to kick your ass. And I think that is what unfortunately is happening to her.
And due process must be followed.
And due process must be followed.
Yes, the trial has already been laid.
So if she did not take advantage of the sympathy of Nigerians, as a loving people, to have doused off her tension, and now she's out, it will not solve the problem. She will come back to Nigeria one day, and it may be more problematic if a pharaoh that did not know Joseph is on the throne when she comes back.
Well, some may see it as a trap, but probably it's not even a trap, and the whole thing went on the way it really happened.
Yeah. So the point, we can't overflow that issue.
Yes.
Now let's look at INEC ban on use of phones at polling centers. Yes, INEC has the constitutional duty and right and powers to set standards, guidelines to regulate good and orderly conduct of elections.
Okay, but do you see that as having an effect on vote buying and selling?
I am coming. We don't mix things. Let's address one and then we can address the other.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do I agree with INEC on the ban of use of phones in polling units? I disagree totally. Because that will be impugning on the powers they have to conduct a transparent election. Is INEC afraid of anything? Because these days, with our phones, we can circulate information immediately. I think what INEC should be concerned about will be this. whoever posts election results, which nobody has the authority except INEC to do, whether you're a president, whether you're a governor, whether you're an ordinary citizen, nobody has the right under the law to post or announce election results. So that should be what INEC should ban people from, and then put mechanisms in place to catch those that will flout this law
but don't
punish them.
But don't forget the fact that they are not stopping persons from holding phones to election places.
Yeah.
But the moment you have been given the ballot paper,
Yeah.
you are not supposed to exceed that point with your phone.
Now, the point is this. If I am voting, no matter how you call it, it is my right to decide how I want to vote.
To carry your phone to the polling unit.
It is my constitutional
Yeah, you have to
right.
What's the need for that?
If I want to photo,
To screenshot.
To my own ballot paper, provided I am not using it, for any criminal intentions.
But are you supposed to snap? Are you supposed to snap the ballot paper? For what use? Because that is exactly what the techniques that some vote buyers, brought into the system.
This is the point that I am coming to.
Which INEC wants to correct.
Yeah, this is the point that I am coming to. If you now ban, the use of phone in polling units, it did not say why you are voting. Polling unit is an area. Okay? So it is not within the polling box.
Okay.
Which are two different things. So the point here is, if INEC is saying don't snap your ballot papers to show in the name of vote buying, okay, to show that you voted for this candidate so that you receive money, okay, that is acceptable.
That's acceptable. It's a different ballgame entirely.
It's acceptable. But if you tell me that I cannot use my phone to record events that are happening in my polling unit, where I am there to guarantee.
That's a different case entirely.
Of course.
No, that's a different case entirely.
Of course.
Because the whole purpose is for you, once you've been given the ballot paper, you are not supposed to exceed that point with your phones. So
that doesn't stop me. No. You cannot deprive me because it is impugning on my right to property ownership and use.
Okay, thank you.
But you know that if you use your property wrongly, you face the music of the law.
Okay, thank you. Well, Bishop Igbasan, as we round off, what's your comment on that?
My comment is that, politicians, they don't sleep at night. And even when you make a law, it doesn't stop them from doing what they want to do.
Yes.
What I see is that even though if you are going to say people should not use their phone, it depends on the security agencies at that particular point.
Yes.
Because we have seen it here where people snap like this, and even I have seen it in this New Testament way of Bible, where it is only police is helping people to snap, even those who cannot operate their phone, so they put it there. So the issue, this New Testament way of buy vote, that even police will hold it and help you snap there, it's snapper for you, go collect your money there. So if INEC is saying that one, and security agencies that are standing by are compromised.
Well, if you say that police helped to do that,
yes,
we are yet to get evidence on that.
I was there. It was not that I was told. What I'm telling you is that
that is your opinion, and not the opinion of independent.
No, it's not. No, what I'm saying here is what I witnessed.
Okay.
So that you say even in polling booth, you see police will be looking at the other side, and people are doing what they are doing. They are sharing and sharing money. So it is not about this. Like my learned brother have said, you must not be deprived to record events in that place, because if you are going to be transparent enough, when they are counting, you can record whatever is the result or whatever is happening there. What I feel is that not taking your phone to that point might not stop what is going to happen if the security agencies there are docile or they decide to look there.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bishop Austin Igbasan, for coming. Thank you, Williams Chima.